So continuing on to book 18, and Patroclus is dead and the news is about to come back to Achilles. We also know now that Hector isn't going to survive much longer. That's what we got out of book 17. And so here we're going to move to Achilles' tent and see what happens when he finds out. The son of Nestor came up to him and told his sad tale, weeping bitterly the while. Alas, he cried, son of noble Peleus, I bring you bad tidings. Would indeed that they were untrue. Patroclus has fallen and a fight is raging about his naked body, for Hector holds his armour. A dark cloud of grief fell upon Achilles as he listened. He filled both hands with dust from off the ground and poured it over his head, disfiguring his comely face and letting the refuse settle over his shirt so fair and new. He flung himself down, all huge and hugely at full length, and tore his hair with his hands. The bondswomen whom Achilles and Patroclus had taken captive screamed aloud for grief, beating their breasts with their limbs, failing them for sorrow. Now, some of those actions that are described there may sound a little bit strange and unusual to us, but all of them are associated with grief and mourning. So we can actually see some of the rituals associated with death that the ancient Greeks held. So this was the way you were supposed to mourn. Picking up dust from the ground, you pour it over yourself. It disfigured Achilles' comely face, as his handsome face. Also, the women weeping and pulling at their hair, beating their breasts, Achilles pulling his hair. All of these are marks of mourning and sadness, and these are usual and normal reactions to the death of somebody. And then Achilles, to his mother Thetis, says, Achilles groaned and answered, Mother, Olympian Zeus has indeed vouchsafed me the fulfillment of my prayer, but what boosts it to me, seeing that my dear comrade Patroclus has fallen? So Zeus has listened and he has made his prayer come true, but the one part of his prayer that did not come true was Patroclus coming home. So what's the point of saving the Greeks if Patroclus is dead? He whom I valued more than all others and loved as dearly as my own life. I've lost him, aye. And Hector, when he had killed him, stripped the wondrous armour so glorious to behold, which the gods gave to Peleus when they laid you in the couch of a mortal man. So when you and Peleus got together, mummy, he got given this gift of this armour. Well, that's gone too. So he's really having a moan here. He's pretty sad. Would that you were still dwelling among the immortal sea nymphs. So it would have been better if you were still living there and hadn't got together with Peleus. And that Peleus had taken to himself some mortal bride. If Peleus had married a human, then I wouldn't have been born, he's saying. For now you shall have grief infinite by reason of the death of that son whom you can never welcome home. Who's their son that she's not going to be able to welcome home? Well, that's himself. He's talking about himself. He's saying, now I am going to die, and then you're going to be really sad. So it would have been better if I hadn't been born. Therefore, it would have been better if you had never married my father Peleus. Nay, I will not live nor go about among mankind, unless Hector fall by my spear, and thus pay me for having slain Patroclus, son of Menoetius. So the only way that I'm going to live on is if I can kill Hector. Thetis wept and answered, Then my son is your end at hand, for your own death awaits you full soon after that of Hector. And that's another really important hint about what's going to happen in the future, because Thetis already knows that when Hector dies, that marks the time when Achilles is about to die. So the signal that he's going to go and kill Hector, she's upset because she knows her son's about to die too. So Iris shows up. Now Iris was the messenger goddess, and she's going to be sent secretly by Hera to Achilles to tell him to get involved. And here we go. Iris, fleet as the wind, so fast as the wind, winged her way as messenger from Olympus to the son of Peleus. So from Olympus, where the gods live, to Achilles, bidding him arm. So get your armor on, get ready to fight. She came secretly without the knowledge of Zeus and of the other gods, for Hera sent her, and when she had got close to him, she said, Up, son of Peleus, mightiest of all mankind, rescue Patroclus, about whom this fearful fight is now raging by the ships. Men are killing one another, the Greeks in defense of the dead body, while the Trojans are trying to hale it away and take it to windy Troy. Hector is the most furious of them all. He is for cutting the head from the body and fixing it on the stakes of the wall. Up then, and stay here no longer, shrink from the thought that Patroclus may become meat for the dogs of Troy. So that's what should spur you on. Don't let that happen. Shame on you should his body suffer any kind of outrage. And Achilles said, Iris, which of the gods was it that sent you to me? Iris answered, it was Hera, the royal spouse of Zeus. But the son of Cronos does not know of my coming, nor yet does any of the immortals who dwell on the snowy summits of Olympus. So Zeus, the son of Cronos, doesn't know that Hera has sent me. That's what Iris is saying. Now, is this legal? Is this within the rules that Zeus set out? Probably, because you would say this is a serviceable suggestion. Get up, Achilles, put on your armor, get your weapons, and go and reclaim the body of Patroclus that the Trojans, and in particular Hector, are trying to steal away. Then fleet Achilles, or quick Achilles, lots of quick people, answered her, saying, how can I go into the battle? They have my armor. My mother forbade me to arm till I should see her come, for she promised to bring me goodly armor from Hephaestus. I know no man whose arms I can put on, save only the shield of Ajax, son of Telamon, and he surely must be fighting in the front rank and wielding his spear about the body of dead Patroclus. Achilles is saying, I can't go and fight, I have no armor, and mummy, Thetis, is going to bring me some new armor. That Hephaestus, he's the blacksmith god, like the volcano god, the armor's going to come to me. I can't fight until I get it. The only armor that's good enough for me, or big enough for me, is Ajax's, but I can't use that because he will be using it as he fights. To this Iris replies, we know that your armor has been taken, but go as you are. Go to the deep trench and show yourself before the Trojans, that they may fear you and cease fighting. Thus will the fainting sons of the Greeks gain some brief breathing time, which in battle may hardly be. So if you just go and turn up, you will already have done enough to scare off the Trojans. That's how scared they were of Achilles and how great a warrior he was. So thrice did Achilles raise his loud cry as he stood by the trench, so he's gone into battle, and thrice were the Trojans and their brave allies thrown into confusion. Whereon 12 of their noblest champions fell beneath the wheels of their chariots and perished by their own spears. So they've gone absolutely crazy because Achilles has turned up and they don't know what to do, and they're running over themselves, and that's not a good way to go. The Greeks, to their great joy, then drew Patroclus out of reach of the weapons and laid him on a litter. His comrades stood mourning round him, and among them fleet Achilles, who wept bitterly as he saw his true comrade lying dead on his bier. He had sent him out with horses and chariots into battle, but his return he was not to welcome. So that's a very sad scene. Achilles gets the body back, he arrives at the battle, cries out, causes panic amongst the Trojans, but they are able to reclaim Patroclus' body. In the next scene we actually get to see what was done to a body in ancient times. So then Achilles told his men to set a large tripod upon the fire, that they might wash the clotted gore from off Patroclus. So they're going to clean him up, get rid of all the gore and yuck. So they put this tripod that's a three-legged cauldron typey thing, and they've put that over the fire, and they're going to fill that up most likely with water, which is going to boil and get hot, and they're going to do some cleaning. Thereon they set a tripod full of bath water onto a clear fire. They threw sticks on it to make it blaze, and the water became hot as the flame played around the belly of the tripod. When the water in the cauldron was boiling, they washed the body, anointed it with oil, and closed its wounds with ointment that had been kept 9 years. So that's the process. You clean it up, you anoint it with oil, and you close the wounds with a specially kept ointment. Then they laid it on a bier and covered it with a linen cloth from head to foot. And over this they laid a fair white robe. Thus all night long did the Myrmidons gather round Achilles to mourn Patroclus. That's really cool, because we might have pictures or sculptures of the actions of the very ancient Greeks. But this is 3,000 odd years ago, and we've got a clear description description of how the body was cared for after someone had passed away. Meanwhile, Thetis came to the house of Hephaestus, imperishable, star-bespangled, fairest of the abodes in heaven, a house of bronze wrought by the lame god's own hands. She found him busy with his bellows, sweating and hard at work. So Thetis goes to Hephaestus. Now, Hephaestus is generally thought of to live in a volcano. He's the blacksmith god. He creates amazing, beautiful works. He's also famously known to be lame. Now, that lame, not as in you're a lame-o, but as in he's crippled, and often referred to as the crippled god. He is something completely different to what we think of when we think of God or the gods. Again, we're seeing that the ancient Greeks saw their gods not as we might see a god, but almost like superhuman humans. So they have the same failings of character and also the same physical failings that humans might have, but they're gods. So we might not be able to understand that, but for them that seems to have been perfectly normal. Thetis is now in the house of Hephaestus and is greeted. Charis, of graceful headdress. Now, Charis is Hephaestus' wife. Now, in the Iliad, Charis is the wife of Hephaestus, and Charis means grace or beauty, and known as the Graces. They're often referred to as 9 of them, but in the Iliad, it seems to be identified as one individual who is clearly Hephaestus' wife and would have been very beautiful. So Charis, of graceful headdress, wife to the far-famed lame god, the famous lame god, that's Hephaestus, came towards her as soon as she saw her, and took her hand in her own, saying, "Why have you come to our house, Thetis, honoured and ever welcome? For you do not visit us often. Come inside and let me set refreshment before you." So she's welcomed, and welcoming someone in, even though you don't know why they are there, this is a form of guest friendship. It's a very ancient custom of the Greeks, and it is what would have been expected. Even if you don't know a person, you're still expected to invite them in, offer them refreshment before you ask who they are or why they've turned up. Then Hephaestus drew near to Thetis, seated her upon a goodly seat, and took her hand in his own, saying, "Why have you come to our house, Thetis, honoured and ever welcome? For you do not visit us often." That again is a formulaic phrase there. They're using the same language repeated twice. "Say what you want, and I will do it for you at once if I can, if it can be done at all. So tell me what you'd like, and I will do it." "I am suppliant at your knees." This is what Thetis is saying. A suppliant is a person who puts yourself absolutely, totally at the whim of the person. You lay down before them. You have no power. They have complete power over you. It's almost begging. In fact, it is a type of begging to say you are suppliant. To say you're at their knees, that means if you were physically to do it, you would be kneeling down before them and grabbing a person around their knees. So you are... you have no way to protect yourself, you have no power, and a person could kill you in that situation. So often in war you would have someone being a suppliant, grabbing someone's knees. To say "I am at your knees" was a way of conveying, even without doing it, that you are in the person's power. "If you may be pleased to provide my son, whose end is near at hand, with helmet and shield, with goodly greaves, so shin pads fitted with the ankle clasps, and with a breastplate, for he lost his own when his true comrade fell at the hands of the Trojans, and he now lies stretched on earth in the bitterness of his soul." So he's saying, she is saying, "Can you please give my son some more armor?" And Hephaestus answered, "Take heart and do no more disquieted about this matter," or be no more disquieted about this matter. Don't be upset. "Would that I could hide him from death's sight when his hour is come, so surely as I can find him armor, and shall amaze the eyes of all who behold it." So I can't save him, and we all know he's going to die, but at least I can make him some armor. He threw copper into the fire and tin with silver and gold. He set his great anvil on its block. If you've ever seen a blacksmith, that's the big metal thing that you bang with a hammer. And with one hand grasped his mighty hammer while he took the tongs in the other. So this is a typical scene of a blacksmith. He's going to bash away at some hot metal, and he's going to make the armor for Achilles, or for Thetis to take to Achilles. It's interesting that the metal that is used, copper, tin, silver, and gold, those would not have been what we would consider very strong metals, but we're in the Bronze Age, so these are the types of metals that were the hardest at the time. First he shaped the shield, so great and strong, adorning it all over and binding it round with a gleaming circuit in 3 layers, and the baldric was made of silver. He made the shield in 5 thicknesses, and with many a wonder did his cunning hand enrich it. Sounds complex. Then when he had fashioned the shield so great and strong, he made a breastplate also that shone brighter than fire. He made a helmet close fitting to the brow and richly worked, with a golden plume overhanging it, and he made greaves also of beaten tin. Lastly, when the famed lame god had made all the armour, he took it and set it before the mother of Achilles, whereon she darted like a falcon, nice little simile, from the snowy summits of Olympus, and bore away the gleaming armour from the house of Hephaestus. So Thetis collects the armour and she heads home.